Washington at the conclusion of, I think, what is a wonderful day. And I'm here with my colleague, I think, Anastasius, and we're talking about some of the things that we saw, particularly at the National Archive and here at the Smithsonian Institute. For the students back in Northampton, could you relate to them what it's like to actually see these historical documents that they're studying in the classroom?
Well, it was a profound experience, Professor Levy. The fact that I've been teaching about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all the protections that we are granted by these documents, it was really a profound experience to see them and to see the original artifact. I think the students, and I don't want to speak for them, but it's one thing to talk about it in the classroom, it's another thing to actually see the document itself. So it was extremely powerful.
We have two of our honor students here who study these things. What was it like for you to see these documents and something that you saw the exhibit?
This is the first time I've been to Washington, D.C., and it was just a really mind-boggling experience. I really liked looking at the archives, the actual original documents. Coming to this museum and seeing some of the original artifacts and stuff that has been collected through time, and it's just like, wow. You know?
Which one really struck you the most?
The transportation section is just right over here. Looking at the development of technology in our transportation and cars and locomotives, trains.
And Monica, what will you always remember from this trip?
In the Archive Museum, I liked the Bill of Rights, how you saw the original and things were scribbled down, and you could see how they rewrote over things and all the different edits that they made to it before it was finalized. And they had a part of the screenplay in there from The Wizard of Oz, and it was the same thing. They would scratch it out and make revisions to it, and then I know that movie by heart, so even in the screenplay that was typed up, it wasn't what they actually said anyway. So the actors did a lot of ad-libbing, I guess. That was really neat.
And then what would you say back in Northampton about coming to Washington, perhaps on their own, or just seeking out history in the places they travel, even the places they live?
We're lucky to be so close to such a place like Washington, D.C., with all the great museums and places to visit and learn about our country and our history and many other things. It's a great opportunity for the honors class, and it's an experience that most Northampton County students don't get the opportunity to have, but it's a great add-on to the honors.
So please come to Washington when you can, but even there in Pennsylvania, there's history all around us that we can learn and that we can appreciate. Finally, the concluding thought with Kiki, one of the, there's a legal concept, I believe, of the living Constitution, as opposed to original intent. And one of the things that struck me when I looked at how faded the words of the Constitution is that its meaning has to constantly be revised. It has to constantly be restated, not only figuratively and symbolically on paper and on parchment, but in the living Constitution that we put our own actions to life in the Constitution. And that really kind of struck me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that the living Constitution is an incredible concept because our society is constantly changing and the makeup of our population is increasingly becoming more diverse. And I think the founding fathers actually meant for the document to be a living, breathing document that constantly adapts to whatever conditions exist in our country in different times. It's interesting that you mentioned, this concept of the fading Constitution, because then it almost gives us the opportunity to read into it the things that help us solve, contemporary problems or deal with contemporary challenges. So it's an interesting metaphor how we should be looking at the Constitution.
That's great. Well, thank you, and thank you. Hope you're enjoying the course, and take care and be well.